No Hayu Sekai, good morning, world. And good morning to those listening on the Anime Dudes and the Anime Dads podcast. If you don't know what anime that's from, that's okay. That's okay. That's why you're listening to this podcast, just to become more cultured about anime. If you do know what anime that's from, hey, the next season's coming out in like next month. Like, are you excited? Because I'm stinking pumped.
Jujutsu
Uh,
Kaisen. Oh no, sorry.
woo woo.
Dr. Stone.
Yeah, Dr. Stone, 100%. Speaking of Dr. Stone, my name is Bjorvio. And here also we have my co-host who is also very similar to Dr. Stone. I call him the Dr. Anime Dad.
Yeah, I'm the doctor of anime. And really excited to be here. And yeah, I'm pumped for that coming out as well next month or so.
I think it's January, if I remember correctly.
January. How can I say January? Yeah, whatever. I'm the anime dad, and it's great to be here on the podcast again. New listeners, welcome. Old listeners, welcome. You have to say it a bit louder because they have hearing aids. Let's.
I was thinking they were like, seated in the back or something like that. So we got to shout a little bit. No, okay. They have hearing. You're right. You know what? This is why you started the podcast because you have more insight into that kind of thing than I do.
Talking about insight, we are going to go into our improv questions now. I'm going to ask Bjorvio too. He's going to ask me too. And as always, they're entertaining, they're fun, they're exciting, and they are brilliant and anime based. So, my first improv question for you, my good man, is what are three things that you would not want to be reincarnated into in an anime?
Oh, that's good. That's good. I would not want to be reincarnated as as a Todoroki. I would not want that. That just sounds terrible. I would not want to be reincarnated as a demon slayer. Just as none of that sounds fun.
Okay.
And most importantly, I don't want to be reborn as a Titan from Attack on Titan. Okay, that just does not seem fun. It does not seem like a good thing. And I'm a little bit self-conscious, so I don't want to be walking around like that. You know what I mean?
You would not be walking. You'd be the running type, I'm sure. One of those. That'd be great. We need to make a TikTok of us being Titans, wearing skin suits or something. That'd be amazing. All right, my second and final improv question to you is: let's pretend you were born in an anime where it's based on the movie Honey, We Shrunk the Kids. Um, do you know the movie?
Yeah, I know it. It's been
All right.
you unlocked a core memory that I forgot about, but yes.
And while you are shrunk, you lose all memory, and your parents become to you they become titans, but they're not titans. They're just your parents, but they look like titans. What's the first way you're going to take out your father?
All right, so that's I'm glad you asked that. It's a question that I think keeps a lot of us up at night. Um, Especially like the whole being shrunken down thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bust out my ocarina, okay? And I'm gonna use my 3DM gear. I'm gonna go and I'm not gonna have a clear shot of his neck because, he's a dad, you know? What do dads all have? Mullets.
Cats.
Guess what you can't cut? Yeah, guess what you can't cut? The back of their neck because they have a mullet. They got hair protecting it. So you got to get real creative. So I'm gonna fly into their ear and play the ocarina, and then when he's trying to shake me off, his hair will be floating in the wind like a L'Oreal Paris commercial. And then I'm gonna jump off, grab my opportunity, and that's when I am gonna
It's
cut him a nice piece of steak, and we're gonna have a good time. And that's how I take out my dad.
that sounds beautiful. Is your opportunity? You said you're going to grab your opportunity. Is that the name of your sword? The opportunity?
Yes, I am going to grab my. So the one that I use in my left hand is called Opportunity, and the other one is called Patience.
I like that. All right, what are your two improv questions for me? And they have to be Off you go.
Okay. All right. You're lucky I can read sign language, so I understand completely what you mean, man. Um, all right, so my first question is you you have woken up in class after falling asleep, and Koro Sensei standing over you, and he is telling you to recite the a passage from a chemistry book. He wants you to recite the chemical component of argon. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a textbook in one hand, a notebook in another, and an octopus killing knife on your desk. What do you do?
Well, firstly, instead of telling him about argon, I'm gonna start reading from a cookbook that I have on the table on how to make calamari. That'll throw him off, make him turn different color. Then I'll give him a big fat kiss on his forehead because he is my favorite teacher, and I'm never taking that knife near that man. All right, that that's unacceptable. He will not. He will survive. I don't care if he destroys the earth. He needs to survive. So that's what I do.
Amen, brother. Amen. Yes, he's the best all around. Nothing ever keeps him down.
He's the best around.
Around.
What is your next question?
All right, so my next one is you wake up in a lake.
I wake up a lot in these improv questions.
You do, because here's the thing. You as you wake up in this lake, you start swimming and you find out that you have a curse technique that however, it's only useful when three things are occurring. One, you have to be touching some kind of water. Okay. Two,
Can it be
you
urine?
can no, it has to be water.
All right.
Two, you have to be wearing two watches. And three, what is the third caveat?
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Touching water, two watches, and I need to be sitting down.
Good news, they got plenty of chairs and lakes.
Just because I think, I mean, how funny would it look a person activating a technique sitting down? It would just look funny, no matter how you're sitting trying to activate that, you wouldn't look cool. So
Must be pretty powerful then.
it must be, and with that many caveats, for sure. Talking about caveats, we are getting into the bulk of our conversation today, which is what, my good man?
We are talking about anime rivals that we would actually want to have as our own rivals in the real world. Now, here's one little caveat though. As I'm sure you've probably heard on last week's episode, we mentioned that Anime Dad and I are consistently playing this Pokemon trading card game together, and we have become each other's rivals. So that's an automatic number one, okay? Because there's no one else I'd rather have as my rival. We push each other, we get each other better, and it feels really satisfying to not tell him when we got this like super duper awesome rad card and then bust it out in the middle of a game.
That freaked me out this morning, bro. I was like, I had to hold it down and be like, "What? Mewtwo? And he got the two move sets? I'm stuffed."
Yes, sir. Oh, that was fun. But to be fair, I think you did that with me a couple days ago. I can't remember which.
Zapdos.
I think it was your yeah, it was your Zapdos, bro. You wiped my whole team with that.
But you're right, we're rivals for sure. And anime rivals are they push people to become better, or they could be someone like Frieza and Goku, who even though they do push each other to become better, they've also got a lot of animosity, anger, and hate between both of them. Who's one of your anime rivals?
So I'm gonna go on the assumption that these guys are not actively trying to kill me because that would be something completely different. This is just we're gonna go through life and we're gonna make each other better. So number three for me is not from an anime you've seen, but that's okay. because I've talked about this anime on this podcast before, and it is one of my favorite characters in all of fiction, and that is Kenshin Himura from Rurouni Kenshin.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, you have spoken about it before, and I do really want to watch it. What makes him a good rival for you?
So Kenshin is so long as he's not Batosai the Manslayer, because I don't want anyone with the name Manslayer as my rival. That just does not sound like a good idea. But so long as he's like, in his like later years, I guess with the start of the anime, he's very calm, he's very patient, he's willing to teach. Um, and Kenshin's already like at his prime. And so really he wants other people to succeed, and so I could see Kenshin like as I'm training and everything, he's that guy that's like, "Oh, I can see that you've gotten better with your left foot practice that I have. Good job. Very nice." Like he's complimentative, he's helping you, and he notices the small little details about how you've progressed. Like that's awesome. That's really, really cool. Of course, he's the dude that you're never going to be able to beat because he's already a master of everything that he does. But we need a little bit of that sometimes.
You do, because you're always aspiring to be great or to be better, um, even if you never beat them. Almost like me when I verse you in Pokemon. Same thing. I
I'm sorry. I'm
strive
pretty sure we're 1-1 win today.
for now.
Mister,
For
you
now.
kicked my butt with a Gengar.
He's cool. All right. Well, my one of my rivals. It was hard. It was hard to come up with this list because you're right. The majority of the anime protagonists are just too cool, to
Mhm.
be our rivals, too powered in a way. But I think um, someone like flip. Wait, I wrote it down. What's his name? The guy who has the bike in One Punch Man.
Oh, Moomin Rider?
Moomin Rider would be a really good rival. He never gives up. He works very, very hard. He is extremely passionate. I don't know why doesn't have his driver's license, but I'm hoping with my rival's support and motivation, he will get there. He'll become a better hero, and I'll become a better person. He's got so much compassion and love for people, and I think rivals that motivates you to be more compassionate and loving are the way to go.
I love that. It completes a story arc for him. Like, you get your driver's license, maybe and that pushes him to maybe get his commercial trucking license. And so that's what he slams into people with instead of his bike. Like, there's always ways you can improve.
That's very true. That's very true. I guarantee he would still wear his helmet in the car or the truck. But that's okay.
100%.
That's okay. Who's next on your list?
So I like the theme of the anime that you're going from. So I'm actually going to go from the same anime, but take a completely different direction. And I'm going to go with Saitama because Saitama is a super chill dude. Again, I keep going with people that I'll never be able to beat, but I mean, we see Saitama, like someone has declared Saitama their rival in the show. And overall, it really doesn't affect Saitama's life at all that much. Like, I still could see like Saitama still be like, okay, well, this is what's happening. Okay, well, hey, there's a sale at Chili's. You want to go? Or like, let's go. Like I could see just being friends with Saitama, but also like striving to do that. And again, kind of the same thing with Kenshin, but on a much bigger scale. You're never gonna surpass him,
Yeah,
but you're gonna have a good time trying. You're gonna have a good friend out of it. I don't know if he'd ever see me as a rival. Maybe in some things like he did with King when they're playing video games or
that's what
something
I
like
was
that. Like
thinking.
yeah, like maybe I see him as a rival for, physical fitness and he sees me one for extreme couponing or something.
Yes. Oh, heck yeah. That's a great choice because, yeah, and he probably see you as a rival with your hair. You got brilliant hair in comparison to his, so and he can't grow out his hair. So that's one thing he can't do. Um,
He's got what
all right, well, and the next person on my list is someone that I would view as an academic rival. All right,
hair?
someone that academically would push me to my limits and improve my knowledge and understanding because I personally am not I'm a simple man, and I'd like to learn, but I'd like to get smarter now and again. I'm the smartest person there is, to be honest. But that person is Anya Forger because she's on the same level as me as a 6 year old. Okay, all right. She could read. Also, she could read my mind, and and get no answers, and probably get nothing from it because I don't think about much at any given point. So I'm her rival because my mind is unreadable to her. And she's my rival because she knows what 5 times 25 is, probably. Um, so, yeah, yeah. I think that's why she's on the list, and that's why she will forever and always will be my rival.
You think she? Here's the thing. Also, by being your rival, I'm sure she could probably get a Stella somehow for doing so.
At community service.
Yeah. So you know what? You'd be helping out with Operation Strix. So hey, that's a win for everyone involved.
I am protected by the government. That's amazing. That's amazing. All right, who's your final person on your list?
So my final person is a character that I talk about a lot on this show. Um, just in general, really. He's one of my favorite main characters. I just like his heart. I like his dedication. I like his motivations.
Mario
I
Togeda?
like I mean, I do love Mirio Togata, but he progresses way too fast for me. I need someone that's not that quick, but also someone a little bit more down to earth. Someone who is just going to be that uplifting, positive spirit. So I know it sounds a lot like I'm talking about Mirio. So why don't I just go ahead and say it? It's Tanjiro Kamado.
Good point. He's got a similar attitude to Mario, but he'd be
He
really
does.
uplifting as a rival.
He is, because I mean, look at how he treats like Inosuke and Zenitsu and Genya. Like he's very uplifting. He doesn't give up on them. He wants them to do their best. Or even during the Hashira training arc, when everyone else is giving up, Tanjiro is just this like beacon of light to motivate so many people at once. Like imagine if all that's focused on you, and he's going to be one of those that's like. Oh yeah, we're rivals, but I made you some rice balls, so you could go ahead and trade at your best. Do you want to learn how to do the Hinokami Kagura with me? Well, I'm sure you can. Come on, let's do it. Then I'll teach you water breathing. Like it's. Oh yeah, sorry, we're supposed to be rivals, but I just want you to be so good. Like, are you kidding me? Like he's one of the purest boys in all of anime, and so having him as a rival, I just is gonna push everyone around him to be better
That's
naturally.
that's so true. That's so true. He's a good rival, and you'll be well fed and looked after. And you got Nezuko there to be an additional help and support as well. So that's very cool. That's very cool. Good choice. Mine's actually from the same anime, and this is because you know, we all get negative sometimes in the world, or in our own minds. We become negative, and I'll probably be the yang to this guy's yin, because he doesn't seem to be getting negative, or he's really good at suppressing it. But this particular person has had quite a tough life, and he understands life can be hard, and yet he's always positive, and he really tries to motivate and uplift others. Um, I don't know how I could become his rival, really. Maybe I can be his rival. Oh, I've got one. All right, the person is none other than the Flame Hashira. Okay. I'd be his rival in eating. I can eat a heck of a lot of food, and I've got a loud voice when I want to as well. So that's probably the only way I could rival him, is with food, and with shouting "Oshi" or "tasty." But he uplifts people. He's incredibly strong, incredibly smart, incredibly kind, and I think he'd be a really good rival.
I think so. One thing's for sure. Yeah, the here's the other thing that he does is when he eats, he says "Tasty" after every bite. Which if you do that consistently, you're taking breaks in between your bites. You're gonna get full faster, whether you realize it or not.
Good
So
digestion.
hey, exactly. So his digestion might be on track, but the amount he can eat is reduced. So I think you could probably take him. That being said, he did eat quite a few bento boxes on the Mugen train.
That's true.
But to be fair, it's bento boxes. Like, who wouldn't want to eat a bunch of bento boxes?
I know. Amazing. Amazing. Well, I mean, rivals are good, rivals are bad. You're my greatest rival in the most positive sense. And I think we push each other to the limit. So if you don't have a rival and you're listening in, go out to the, put your head out your window, shout out, who wants to be my rival? You probably have 3 or 4 people coming to you and requesting to be a rival. That's what happened to me. I shouted so loud, Bjorvio heard me, and we contacted each other on social media.
Yeah, it worked. And here's the thing: if you go out to something to keep in mind from one kindred spirit to another,
Mm.
if you go out and you scream, "Who wants to be my rival?" and no one comes, you know what? You're in the wrong crowd. You're
Correct.
too good for that crowd.
Mm.
You don't need to raise your standards. You need to go find people that are going to be where you're at, and then they're going to raise you up.
Mm.
So maybe like you want to
Or
get better at drawing kittens, and
yeah,
you don't have everyone there is like, oh, I draw stick figures. You don't need to lower your standards. Go find people that already know how to draw cats and be like, you know what? This is a really great thing.
or raise chickens, and either or. But really, yeah, really
Pretty
good
good at
option.
that at Stardew.
uh,
Only in Stardew.
all right, for our improv section, I'm going to give you a character, okay, and I think you'd be amazing at this, absolutely amazing at this because of your particular skill set. But I'm gonna say an anime character, and you need to um, pretend like you're in the final stages of introducing him in a boxing fight, him or her into a boxing fight. So you say this tall, this heavy. He comes from this town. He specializes in this, and this is his name. Does that make sense?
I'll do my absolute best.
Okay. All right. First one, Snorlax.
All right, folks, if you turn your attentions to the left side of the arena, we have the 12-foot tall and 6-inch behemoth weighing in at 1,200 pounds, coming in all the way from Pallet Town. His hobbies include eating, body slamming, sleeping, and most importantly, flattening anything in his path. Let me introduce you. You know him, you love him. Give it up for the man, the meal eating Snorlax!
My goodness, I was right. You have the voice for it. That sounds awesome. Next person. Next person. We got 2 more people to go. Next person is gonna be Bakugo.
And in this corner over here, you know him as King Explosion Murder God Dynamite. You know him as the Fiery Inferno. You know him as the Blazing Hands. But coming in at a whopping 4 foot 2 inches tall because he's still a teenager and walking up at a measly 135 pounds of pure muscle, he says, we have a man who is all coming to us from Tokyo. He is just a student at UA High and has defeated some of the greatest villains of our time. Will he defeat his next rival in the stage? Let's find out. Give a warm introduction to the one, the only Explosion Murder God Dynamite, Katsuki Bakugo!
Awesome. And finally, Balma.
Coming in at a height and weight that are fully undisclosed and not known to anyone other than the Eternal Dragon, we have the one Briefs family member who started a journey for so many people. She might have been packing the first time she met a young boy out in the woods, but she doesn't need that weapon anymore. No, you see her walking up into the arena right now. And does she not look 3 years younger thanks to the Eternal Dragon, folks? She might rely a lot on technology, but let me tell you something. She's got the brains to back up that intelligence. Give it up for the one, the only, Bulma Briefs!
Bro, you just need to do that as a job. That's too good. That's too good. That's your new job, okay? Just go, maybe tomorrow, just wake up, head down to a boxing ring, and tell them you're here to work.
I'm still waiting to hear back from the application I sent last week, honestly. So, yeah, we'll see.
All right, well, take us home with the voice of your choosing. And, oh, don't take us home. Take us to the boxing ring with the voice of your choosing. Go for it.
All right. Okay, so I was told that I need to introduce the Bakugo, so I guess we're gonna do that. Standing at a whopping 4 feet 8 inches tall, and weighing about what it says 135 pounds of pure muscle, but I'm pretty sure Kachan actually weighs about 120 pounds, and that his muscular physique only didn't come into play until maybe about a few months ago when he finally mastered his quirk. And I'm sorry, I've been told that I ramble. Anyway, he has very exploding hands that he tends to use quite a bit. In this corner we have. Oh, I'm out of time. Okay. Sorry. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Anime Dad and the Anime Dudes podcast. Um, we really enjoyed it and hope you will come back next week. I guess I'll do an exit for that. Hang on. In this corner, leaving is the Anime Dad guest and go beyond. Plus
Plus
Ultra.
Ultra.